Hello everyone, this is CJNovo992 and today we are back from the brand new video, and today's video has me smiling like this, smiling just that extra bit wider, and there's only one thing that makes me smile that wide, and that is of course Rangers news, as today we are finally back in action to talk about Rangers things, because we've been waiting a while now. I'm gonna be honest, we have just been sitting here twiddling the old thumbicles. Why didn't I just say thumbs? But me saying weird things to one side, there is finally some Rangers things to talk about, because we found out that two players has officially left the football club. One of them at the end of their loan, where there will be no option to buy, which we'll speak about in more detail in the next couple of minutes. Another one is just his contract's run out and he's played his part on the journey. But on the flip side of that, we have the official first player to be signed technically this summer, because he was a free agent for a couple of days, and that is none other than Jermain Defoe. And anyone who's ever seen his channel before will know how happy I am at that news, because I just love every single thing about that man. I love what he brings to the table. I love his professionalism. I love the way he speaks about our club. I love the way he always has our club's back whenever he's doing an interview down south. He always has us up here, and he doesn't allow anyone to sell or try and take digs at Rangers. And honestly, he's just an absolute class act, and you see it, right? I've seen some people in the comment section when I have mentioned that Jermain Defoe should be given a new contract, people saying, oh, what's the point of wasting wages, he's not going to play much, nah, let's move on in a different direction. And again, I respect your opinion if that is how you see it, but for me, the deal that we have done today, getting Jermain Defoe over that line, getting him into this football club for another year, working with the boys, because not only has he just signed on for another year as a player, he's now a player coach, and the argument could be made that he's literally been doing that since he walked in the door anyway, but now it's official, ladies and gentlemen, which also means there's been a wee reworking of the wages, because that'll be coming down right there. So I've got nothing but positivity about this move by Rangers Football Club to get Jermain Defoe in the building another year, get the wage down, get him in as a coach in that as well, and move us on in that direction. And we're going to speak about his impact on the park, because it's actually baffling how good he has been, and I shouldn't say baffling, I should say mind-blowing how unbelievable he's actually been. But first, I want to talk about off-the-field stuff, and again, we kind of hinted there that he has been coaching now since he's walked in the door, but I've mentioned this in a couple of podcasts, and that we have heard players like Tavernier, Connor Golds, we've heard our defence saying that Jermain Defoe has helped them so much since he's walked in the door, because he's been working with the defence saying, you know what, if we're in this position, I'll be here, I'll make a run here, blah blah blah, and that's actually helped them be in the right position and strengthen up defensively and nurture their players on. And of course, we've seen so many videos, so many Instagrams, so many messages about all the work he does for the attacking players, the younger laddies, and even the boys in and around the first team as well. I mean, you just look at Alfredo Morelos for when Jermain Defoe wasn't here to where he is now, and again, a lot of that's to do with Morelos maturing and getting better, absolutely, but you can't sit there and say that Defoe hasn't had a positive impact on Alfredo Morelos, because I look at it, I see the bromance, I see the way they just celebrate and they get on with each other, but I've seen little changes in Morelos' game, and I genuinely think Defoe, and the way he sort of took Morelos under his wings, helped him go on this way, and that we're all sitting here with massive smiles on our faces in the summer, sitting here as league champions. But I know there's going to be people sitting out there that doesn't rate this deal, will be sitting saying, right, CJ, you're being a fanboy now, you're talking about potential stuff that he's done off the field, but what about on the field? And I'm glad you've said that, imaginary person in my head, as we move on and we have a look at his season where, let's be honest with you, he's not been the number 2 striker, he's not even been the number 3 striker at the football club, but when it all has been said and the whistle has been blown for the last time this season, Jermain Defoe has finished with 20 games, 7 goals and 1 assist, averaging a goal throughout the entire season every 90 minutes. Now that is by far the best at the football club, and that is by far the best in the league. That's ridiculous, considering he's given 5 minutes here, 5 minutes here, the impact he can still have for our football club when he eventually does get on that park. Again, it's there to be seen. And that word seen there, I think, is important when referring to Jermain Defoe signing another deal, because this is a guy that can still put the ball in the back of net better than pretty much everyone, because you go and you look at this season, this isn't a guy that's completely lost his first touch, he's lost his momentum, he's lost his movement in the box, he's lost his finishing ability. No. This is a guy that scored arguably the best volley I've ever seen. Sorry, Mr. Ryan Jack. But that finish versus Livingston doesn't get the respect that it deserves, because it's an unbelievable finish, and that was his 300th goal in his career. But it wasn't just like a lucky hit and he scored one good goal this season. No, the longer the season went on, you can think back to when he was given an opportunity on that park, he usually had a moment. I mean, look at his first Old Firm goal, where he's up against that Welsh, he's got the new contract, and they're all talking him up as this, and he's talking him up as that. He absolutely Tina-Turnered him inside out and slapped the ball into the back of the net to kill that game off. Showing again, his first touch is just as good. He's still so sharp, and he knows where the back of the net is, because not once does he even lift his head to look up. It's all where the ball is, and he slaps it away. And if you think back to the last goal that we scored this season, once again, it was Jermain Defoe, and that would have been a perfect curtain call if you think about it. But again, that goal was immaculate from a ball from another guy we're going to speak about in the next couple of minutes, Greg Stewart, into him. He turns, he flips it, and he's still showing that he's still that guy when we need him. And I think that guy going in to next season will be absolutely massive, because if the first option isn't working, if the second or the third option isn't working, we have Jermain Defoe waiting in the wings as that fourth choice player to go on that park and sprinkle magic that we know he's still got. And that for me is so damn important to remember, because what he has shown this season with the stats we've already mentioned, averaging a goal every 90 minutes, etc, etc, he could have went out there and got another, he could have went back to the MLS, he could have went and made some money elsewhere, he could have easily got a job doing south. We had heard rumours about this team wanting him, and this team, there's always a team that needs a natural goal scorer like him. And I'll tell you something, they'd have offered him more money than we would have offered him for this. But the fact that he has turned his head away from all that, he's got that narrowed in focus because he bleeds us and he's got us in our heartstrings, that the fact that he's willing again to restructure his deal to become a player/coach just shows you we've got the right people in and around the dressing room. And I love that, and I'll never ever take that for granted. It might not be a sexy thing to talk about, but we saw dressing rooms and we saw people and we saw guys with influence over the years in our team that annoyed us and it didn't quite mesh right. But now we've got somebody like the professionalism and the guy that demands respect like Jermain Defoe in our team for another year, teaching and helping our boys go on. That for me is everything, if I'm being honest with you. And I love the fact that he has signed this obviously player/coaching role, because that shows you that he's not sitting there being upset that he's not playing every week. He understands where he is in his career right now, and he knows where he can help and how he can help. And for me, ladies and gentlemen, sorry, after my ramblings and everything like that, I am absolutely in love with this deal, and I'm so excited and so damn happy that I get to sit here and say that Jermain Defoe is here for another year. But before we move on and speak about the two players that's actually left the football club, I do want to finish up Jermain Defoe's time at Rangers so far properly, and that's by looking at the entire freaking thing, because as it stands, as I'm currently recording today's video, Jermain Defoe has now played 72 games in all competitions. He has 32 goals and 10 assists. That's unbelievable, man. But with my OCD now officially satisfied, I think I can give the official last word about this section of today's video to our boy Jermain Defoe, because let's not forget, this is what this man
You can
said.
go another season.
I want to stay here forever. I love it. Like everyone knows.
Do you know what I mean?
Special.
How do you not end up just falling in love with that laddie? But with the plums now plumping, let's get to the ending part of today's video, and that's going to be the players that's actually left the football club officially. The first one up is going to be Greg Stewart, which is a shame, but if you think about it, we all knew, and this is no disrespect to him, we knew the role that he was having at our football club and the role that he had to play in our football club. I mean, if you look at this season, he's only played 8 times in all competitions, but he did finish with 2 assists as well, showing that there is quality there. And let's just be honest with you, he's one of us. He loves our football club. He got to live the dream. He got to lift a league title with Rangers Football Club. I mean, that's going to stay with you. That is the pinnacle of life, ladies and gentlemen. Our boy Greg Stewart done it, so I'm so damn happy for him. You can only imagine how happy he was to finish the season and to go out the way that he did. And I think in those fleeting cameos that he did have in the 8 games this season, he showed that he's still a bit of a player and go out there and kick the old boring. So I think he's going to get a good club next, and he'll go in there and do bits, because he's shown that he is a good player and he's been an important part of moving us again in the right direction. So he leaves the football club, his boyhood club, officially with 33 games, 3 goals and 7 assists, which if you look at it, that's 10 goal contributions in the 33 games, and we know for a fact a lot of them wasn't starts. So I haven't got not a bad word to ever say about that laddie. And let's not forget the celebration that he done. He done the old Super Alley versus Aberdeen. See, for that, son, you're right in there forever. I wish nothing but the best for our boy Greg Stewart. He came, he saw, he conquered. Now he moves on, and he always gave his all whenever he was able to go onto the park. And moving on to the last, and unfortunately it is the least, because we now speak about Zungu. And I'll be honest with you, I was so damn excited about the signing of Zungu. I really thought he was going to go into that midfield, because think back when we got him and everything like that, we had questions about the midfield, we had questions about Stephen Davis if he could last an entire season. Remember that mindset that we had because of the way the season before had went down? But by God, is that egg on all of our faces, because what Stephen Davis was able to do on the park every single game at an unbelievable level. And I think actually Stephen Davis's incredible season has really hurt Zungu's chance to actually be involved more in the team, because that's the spot that he was supposed to come in for. But you couldn't drop Stephen Davis at all. And for what we saw is Zungu, when he was given opportunities and given chances to play, you never ever sat back and went, oh, he should be starting there, Stephen Davis, next week. And again, that might be harsh to sort of judge him to that level, because Stephen Davis is an incredible footballer, but this is Rangers Football Club, and if you want to get into the starting 11, you have to be better than the guy that's ahead of you, and he just wasn't, ladies and gentlemen. And obviously the COVID stuff and all that crap and everything that happened, which was very, very disappointing. But I've always got this one, I've always looked back and see there is a very good footballer there. I just don't think we got to see it all and a Rangers shirt. But I'm not fully negative on this one, piling on. Again, I called him and Cedric getting the closers this season when it was 1-0 and we needed to see a game out. He came on the middle of the park, Cedric Gittin came on, so they definitely played their part in some of the games when he came on. But again, I just didn't see that player that I thought was going to go away, and he's not done enough to obviously earn his permanent move to Rangers, so that's a big one for him, because he was dying to be here full time. But again, to finish off his time at Rangers, which he did win the league, by the way, he played 22 games in all competitions. However, he only played 549 minutes, which probably tells you the story of that loan. But again, wish him nothing but the absolute best, and I know for a fact there is a player in there, and if it clicks, he's going to be a fantastic player to watch over the next couple of years. But that's it, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. That's the 2 players that officially left the football club, and that is the 1 player that is staying and not going anywhere. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I've been Ciaran over into. Make sure we get your thoughts and opinions down there in the comment section below. How do you feel about Defoe? Do you think Greg Stewart or Zungu deserved an opportunity again at the football club next season? Where's your head at and why? Let me know down below. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, until I speak to you in the comment section, I've been Ciaran over 92. Thank you so much for watching. All the best, and bye-bye.